So in our last video, we got pretty far on this chop. We got the A pillars all put back together. We took 3 inches out of here, and we've got the B pillars all put back together. They're tilted laying in, everything is looking golden. And then by the time we got to the back there, we're about 4 1/4 inches down. So it gives it a nice raked look on this top here. I'm loving the way it's coming together. So we've got a couple things left here to address. So we've got to do the back window. I didn't like the back window that wrapped around. So what we did is we cut the back window out of the 51 that we had salvaged before this. And we've got that we're gonna put up there and see if we can't make work. And then we've also still have to do something up here with our door. So just like here on the top where we had to put a section in, there's gonna be a section that we're gonna need here on the top of the door frame as well. Because when the roof comes down, it goes forward to be able to line up with the A pillars because the A pillars are at an angle. So you can kind of see these haven't been chopped down yet. But you can see that we're gonna have a gap there. It's gonna be the same size gap as right there, obviously. So we don't have the parts for that yet to be able to work on that. So we're gonna go back here and start working on the back window right now. So this is our window frame from the 51, and I went ahead and trimmed it down and got rid of all the stuff that was welded to it extra, and then we went ahead and cleaned all of the body filler and some of the extra stuff off of it for the most part, and laid it up there, and the top will work. That's not too big of a deal, but you can see here the corners kind of dive in too soon, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue. We're not going to be able to make that work. You know, I mean, I guess you could technically make it work, you know, by lifting this up and trying to get it way up in here, but then you got a hump here that's extra and we'd have to add on and all that kind of stuff to make all that work, which is doable, but not the look that I was going for. The look I was going for was to be able to keep this bead right here and let it wrap all the way around the back of the car and back down the side like it's supposed to. So I had set this off to the side and decided that we're gonna have to find a different back windshield or back window to be able to put in this thing. And I was looking around and not really liking much of what I was finding. So I came back into the shop and for some reason decided to stick this back up here, but I flipped it upside down. And when I flipped it upside down, something like that, I can't tell if we're quite centered or not, but something along that lines, I think that will actually work. I don't see why that won't work. This line right here is pretty uniform all the way across, so once we get this cut out, it'll drop down and should line up pretty decent there. And since the window angles kind of splays out at the top now, was the bottom, but now the top, then that kind of pushes around the corner a little bit more and it just kind of works. So I think we're going to try to go ahead and go with this one again and see if we can't make this work. Okay, so to get started here, we need to try to find center of this window frame. And to do that, I'm going to just put a couple measurements on here and kind of see where we're at. About 44 1/4. Right in that neighborhood. So 22 1/8, just eyeballing it. Right about there. Eyeball it again up here. We go up to 44 3/4. Oh man, depends on where we're going here. It's 45, I guess. So 22 1/2. We don't have a square line anywhere here to go off of, so this is kind of hard to tell, but I am kind of surprised that that hole right there isn't in the center. That's a long ways off from center, but apparently they didn't care back then. The holes aren't obviously in the same spot, so I can't use those as a reference point. Just kind of try to go from the corner here. That's all but 25 right there. That's 25 and 3/8, so might be a hair off. 27 and 1/8. 26 and 3/4. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna have to spend a little bit more time messing with this. So let me get that figured out where we got our line straight, and then I'll bring you guys back. All right, I ain't gonna lie, that was a total pain in the rear to try to get center marked on this window frame. The car itself was actually easier because it does have things that are symmetrical on it and that, you know, are placed in the center. There's a bead roll down the center of the package tray area back up here in the back. This hole right here actually is in the center of the window frame, so that's kind of nice. And I guess now we got that all taken care of. I should also mention that it would be nice, if you're doing any of this, to go ahead and try to put some bracing in the window area here and make sure that it doesn't get warped and out of position. But since I didn't have the glass the day that we were cutting this out of the other car, and nothing else on the other car seemed to be all that great, I wasn't convinced that this was in there square on the other car. So without having the glass to double check it, I just said screw it and cut it out. And what we're gonna be doing now is, once we're trying to fit this thing all in, I'm gonna be checking multiple times over and over and over again with the window, because we do have the window that goes in there now. And we'll make sure that as it's going together and as it's being fit to the car, it's not getting wonky or twisted or flexed out of shape or something like that, so that we can make sure to get the window back in this thing when we're all said and done. So I think with that, we're ready to start cutting. Probably go ahead and trim a little out of here to begin with and try to get this to come down and get a little better idea of exactly how that's gonna go, and go from there. So we've been messing with this for about an hour, and this is kind of where we're at right now. We're getting really, really close. We're fitting pretty good along the bottom through there, and we're fitting pretty good across the top. Everything's measuring out pretty good. Windshield is not rocking, it's steady, so we're good there. And I think now we just got to figure out how to trim this all off, make this nice and smooth and clean across there so we can start welding. And I think we're going to end up having to come clear back up into here somewhere and cut this out and make this whole piece here all new so that it's all going to wrap around and work out like it's supposed to. But overall, we're getting there. I tell you, that's got a nice flow to it. It's looking really good. I do have a little bit of a situation still going on here. We may end up having to cut this farther up and a little bit farther this way. Make just a little bit bigger panel to make the transition look right. But I'm not worried about it. I think it's gonna work out just fine. I am gonna have to go over to the other shop and get my English wheel, my sandbag, and all that stuff and bring it over here so that we can have a little bit of something to work with to try to make this shape. But before we do that, I just got word that we've got a place that we can go and get our little piece we need for our door. So we're gonna go do that now. Well, we made it out here and we found the perfect car here to be able to cut a section out of. That little piece right there on top of that door is gonna do us good. So we'll go ahead and cut that out real quick, and maybe we might look around and see some of this other cool stuff out here real quick before we go. And there we go. We came all this way just to get one little piece of metal, but it's going to be more of a time saver to come here and get this than it was to try to make all this stuff. So there's that. And yeah, there is just a bunch of awesome stuff everywhere out here. There's Joe over there. Let's go talk to him real quick and check out some of his stuff.
Yeah, look around. That row of trees there, basically up to the ostriches over there. Those aren't mine. Out about as far as you can see, it's a quarter mile here.
Okay.
Out to there's not too many out there, and then up to basically that class there. But any of the trucks, any of the old vehicles you see here are mine.
Everything's for sale?
Most everything. Some are already sold, but yeah,
Okay.
everything's for sale for the right price.
Well, I'm trying not to buy anything, but we're gonna have to look around and see.
So what's your niche?
Cool shit.
Huh?
that falls into all kinds of stuff, whatever.
I have everything from like a 1926 Lincoln that's pretty much complete aluminum bodied up to
That's pretty darn cool.
80s, 90s Ford pickups. I try to say pre-72 American
Yeah.
iron out here, but
Okay.
if it's cheap enough. it's hard not to buy it, right?
Right. So if anybody sees anything on the video and they want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to have them get in contact with you?
rustranchkansas@gmail.com.
Okay.
My buddy, plug for Mr. Good Pliers on YouTube. He shot a few out here over the last couple of years, but I'm bringing in stuff all the time, so stuff always changes.
Cool.
But, yeah, there's a few out here that are like, I don't want to tear them apart. There's a 38 Buick there that's pretty much complete.
Right.
I want someone to fix that up. I want to sell it complete. Most everything else is parts and pieces. I mean, you can buy any car you want, but
yeah,
most things.
But it'd be gamed if somebody needed a front clip or whatever.
Yep.
I do have this 53 that I'm working on that we got the little piece for. The ass end of it's really kind of ugly. Somebody put some Oldsmobile taillights on it and a roll pan on it. And it's just kind of just, and it doesn't look that great.
Are you looking for stock or something fun to put on it?
It'd be kind of fun, something fun to put on there would be kind of interesting. We might look around at some of that stuff while we're here.
There's stuff around here. There's stuff around here, yeah. GM row, Ford row, Mopar row, then there's like Ford, Chevy, Ford, miscellaneous import, and then it's kind of everywhere.
Cool.
And then there's kind of, it's out there. There's a bunch of, I guess you don't need any trucks, but there's a bunch of farm trucks and pickups out over there too.
I like farm trucks too.
They got lots of cool stuff.
Yep.
And I try to save stuff from the salvage. From salvage. I am salvage probably. I try to save stuff from the scrapper, you know.
From going to get crushed.
Yeah. And a few of these things that I bought in recently, there's 2 short bed Fords over there the guy was going to crush.
Really?
And 8-hour round trip to go get a couple of them. But nice dry western Kansas stuff. It's hard to say no.
Yeah, that's probably not rusty or anything out there then.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of rust, but it's nothing like here or further east into Missouri.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool.
Well, you're welcome. Look around.
Okay.
Shoot some stuff. And, if they need to get a hold of me, rustranchkansas@gmail.com.
Sweet.
And then once we work stuff out, then I'll give out phone numbers and talk and
Sure.
texting.
All right, well, we'll go check it out and see what you got.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep. Man, so yeah, right off the bat, we got a bunch of cool Thunderbirds, and there's an Etzel over here, a bunch of different stuff. I'm getting back here to the farther back side of things. It looks like they're a little bit older back over here, a little more my style. I like the 40s and stuff, more than the 50s and all of that. I did wear the wrong shoes though. I'm wearing tennis shoes today and probably should have had my boots on because it is a little bit muddy back here. So we might not be able to get to see everything, but we'll try to get you guys as close as we can. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around and just let you guys see what all's out here. Man, guys, there is so much cool stuff out here. I could spend all day out here real easily. But it's starting to rain a little bit, and there's supposed to be some bad weather coming in, so I need to probably go ahead and get back to town. And I still got a bunch of work to do before we can actually turn this video out. So yeah, guess we're gonna have to wrap it up, but we'll definitely have to come back here again. Well, made it back, and this is the exact piece that we need. Everything lines up and looks really good. Got the same body line all going on. And before anybody asks any questions, I did consider making this piece from scratch. There is a lot going on with it though, and it's been a fairly complicated little piece to do. I'll let you guys look at it a little better there. There's a lot going on there, so yeah, it was easier just to go find another one and cut a section out. We'll be able to put it right back in place and won't be that big of a deal. Unfortunately, I got stuff that I gotta go do now, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the evening editing video out, and then I guess we'll come back tomorrow. I'll go ahead and get the English wheel and sandbag and all the stuff we need to go ahead and knock out our panels over here, and we're gonna work hard and try to get this thing knocked out and finished up tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. Well, guys, we're getting close. The back is about 90% welded up right now at this point. Still needs all ground back down again. You see me grind it down once, but then Connor went back over and was filling in all the spots he hadn't got yet. So we, yeah, really close on the back and kind of seen how that kind of went together. I don't know if you guys seen exactly for sure how the front had to be. It had to be a little bit different than I was even expecting it to be. So I'll show you that real quick. We haven't welded anything yet, so it'll be real easy for you guys to see. All right, so we still have the little drip rail piece here to do. I don't know how that ends up still keep getting missed, but I keep forgetting about it, and everybody else has too. So anyways, back to the door scenario that was, or door situation that was actually giving us a little bit of fits here is the fact that the roof is sloped. Well, originally it wasn't. Originally it kind of had just a square flat door across the top of this thing. So we went to put the piece here in the back to go over and kind of line everything all up, and this whole top of this edge was just completely wrong. So what we ended up having to do to fix that, and it makes sense after thinking about it for a second, just hadn't gotten there yet, is that we end up putting a pie cut here and a pie cut here in the top on each corner. And that allowed this corner to come down, and that allowed this one to come up and meet in the middle to where we could actually have a nice line back here across the top of it. So worked out pretty good. Wasn't that big of a deal to do, but just a little something that I hadn't talked to you guys about yet, and just kind of hadn't even crossed my mind yet at that point. So yeah, it's there now. We got the other side done too. Haven't welded anything on the doors yet, so we'll have to get that stuff welded up. This is Tuesday night. I'm going to go home and edit some more stuff here again for you guys, and we'll see. Maybe we can go ahead and get this stuff welded up and kind of get a final look of what everything looks like tomorrow before I have to post the video. I don't know yet. We'll just play that by ear, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, overall, really liking the way it's looking. It's coming together really good. We still have a ton of work to do on the inside because you still have all those metal trim pieces on the inside that we're going to have to now adjust and move and all that stuff too. So there's probably, I hate to guess how many hours, but there's still a ton of work to do on the inside. And that was weird. Just lost power, flickered for a second. All right, I guess that's my sign to go home.